In golf, you can hit every shot perfectly and still lose. Not to an opponent, not to pressure, to a piece of paper, a pencil mark, a rule most people have never heard of. These are 5 moments where the world's best golfers did everything right on the course and lost everything off it. 5 rule violations, 5 major championships, 5 stories that get more painful as we go. Let's start with number 5. Number 5, his caddy had one job. Count to 14. Ian Woosnam was 43 years old, a former world number 1, a Masters champion. And on that Sunday morning at the 2001 Open Championship, he was tied for the lead. He nearly aced the first hole. A rare par 3 opener tapped in for birdie. For one brief walk between greens, he was leading the Open. Here's the thing, in golf, you're only allowed 14 clubs in your bag. 15 means an automatic 2-stroke penalty. Woosnam's caddy, Miles Byrne, had left an extra driver in the bag from a warm-up session. He was supposed to take it out. He didn't. Walking to the second tee, Byrne said 6 words Woosnam would never forget. You're going to go ballistic. 2 drivers, 15 clubs. Woosnam yanked the extra club out of the bag and hurled it into the bushes. His birdie became a bogey. He fought back, eagled the 6th, clawed within 2 of the lead, but finished 3rd, 4 shots behind David Duval. Without those 2 penalty strokes, he'd have been in the final group with a real chance at the claret jug. Byrne kept his job for 2 more weeks. Then he overslept and missed a tee time. That was the end. But that was just a caddy's mistake. What happens when the course itself fools you? Number 4. It didn't look like a bunker because it didn't look like anything. Dustin Johnson was 26, chasing his first major at Whistling Straits. He'd already collapsed at the US Open 2 months earlier. Allied Disqualified blew a 3-shot lead with a final round 82 at Pebble Beach. This was supposed to be redemption. On the 72nd hole, he led by 1 stroke, par to win, bogey for a playoff. His drive went right, far right, into a gallery area trampled flat by thousands of spectators. Beer cans, Gatorade bottles, cigarette butts, packed dirt, no rake marks, no visible sand. In golf, you can't touch the ground with your club before hitting from inside a bunker. But this didn't look like a bunker to anyone standing there, including DJ. Whistling Straits has over 1,000 bunkers, and a local rule classified every sandy area on the property as a hazard. It'd been posted in locker rooms since 2004. Almost nobody remembered. DJ grounded his club, hit his shot, made what he thought was a bogey. Then a rules official told him the sandy patch was, in fact, an official bunker. 2-stroke penalty. The bogey became a triple. He went from first place to a tie for 5th. Without that penalty, Dustin Johnson would have been in a playoff for the PGA Championship. Instead, he waited 6 more years for his first major. He said later he never once thought he was in a bunker. Nobody standing there did either. A caddy who couldn't count. A bunker that didn't look like one. But what about a rule designed to protect fairness that tore the entire sport apart? So far, we've seen a caddy's forgotten club and a bunker hidden in plain sight. Those were painful, but the next 2 stories are different. These are the moments that divided the entire golf world, where the rule book said one thing and everyone watching said another. Number 3, he told on himself, and that's the strangest part of the whole story. Friday afternoon, 2013, Masters. Tiger Woods stood 85 yards from the pin on Augusta's par 5 15th. He hit a wedge so precise it struck the flagstick and ricocheted backward into the pond. Bad luck on a perfect shot. When a ball goes into a water hazard, you can drop a new ball as close as possible to where you played the last one. Tiger took his drop, but placed it roughly 2 yards behind his original spot, trying to change the angle and avoid another ricochet. That evening, a former tour player watching on television called Augusta to report the violation. Officials reviewed the footage while Tiger was still on the course. They found no issue. Tiger signed his scorecard for 71. Then he walked into his press conference, and there, casually, he said the words that changed everything. He'd intentionally dropped 2 yards further back. That sentence was an accidental confession. Saturday morning, Augusta re-reviewed the video. This time, they agreed. The drop was illegal. Under normal rules, signing for a wrong score means automatic disqualification. But Augusta invoked a rarely used exception, Rule 33.7, which lets a committee waive a DQ if officials had already reviewed and cleared the play before the card was signed. Tiger got a 2-stroke penalty instead. He was not disqualified, he finished 4th, and the argument that followed has never fully stopped. Some said Tiger should have withdrawn, others said Augusta got it right. Without that rule, Tiger Woods would have been disqualified from the 2013 Masters, and the conversation about special treatment in golf would look very different. To this day, nobody fully agrees on what should have happened. Number 2, he played the round of his life, and then he picked up a pencil. April 14, 1968, Roberto De Vicenzo's 45th birthday. The Argentine was already a legend, reigning Open champion, beloved everywhere he played. On that Sunday at Augusta, he shot a 65, eagled the first, turned in 31 on the front 9, one of the finest final rounds the Masters had ever seen. Here's how scoring works in professional golf. Your playing partner marks your score on the card, and you're responsible for checking every number before you sign it. De Vicenzo's partner Tommy Aaron accidentally wrote a 4 on hole 17. The actual score was 3, a birdie, 1 stroke higher than what really happened. A press aide pulled De Vicenzo away for an interview before he'd fully checked the card. He signed it. The moment that pen left the paper, the 65 became a 66. Under the rules of golf, a higher score written on a signed card must stand. No appeal, no correction, no exception. Bob Goalby had also shot 66 that day. Without the error, De Vicenzo and Goalby would have gone to a Monday playoff. Instead, Goalby won outright. De Vicenzo was told there was nothing anyone could do. Bobby Jones himself confirmed the ruling. When asked what happened, De Vicenzo said 5 words in his accented English that became one of the most quoted lines in sports history.
What a stupid I am.
He never won the Masters, and the reason wasn't his swing. It was a single digit on a piece of paper, written by someone else, signed without looking, on his 45th birthday. That rule stood unchanged for 56 years. In 2024, golf finally introduced a 15-minute grace period for scorecard corrections. 56 years too late for De Vicenzo. But there's one story left, and it might be the most heartbreaking of all, right? Because unlike De Vicenzo, this player did everything right. Number 1, he shot the round of his life. Blew kisses to his wife and daughters from the 18th green. 10 minutes later, he was driving home. Mark Rowe was 40 years old, 20 years as a professional golfer, 3 European Tour wins, 14 major appearances, with nothing to show for them. At the 2003 Open Championship on a Saturday at Royal St. George's, he shot a 67, the lowest round of the tournament. He was 2 shots off the lead. If Sunday went well, he'd be in the final group, alongside Tiger Woods, with a chance at the Claret Jug. Here's the rule. In professional golf, players swap scorecards before a round begins. Your partner writes your scores, you write theirs. It's a 5-second ritual that happens before every competitive round on Earth. On the first tee that Saturday, Rowe and his partner Jesper Parnevik forgot. Neither one swapped cards. They each marked their own scores for 18 holes. Every number on both cards was correct. The totals were right. The hole-by-hole scores matched television records. There was no cheating, no advantage, no confusion about what anyone shot. But the cards were filled in by the wrong hands, and under the rules at the time, that meant automatic disqualification for both players. Rowe had triple-checked his card before signing. He'd had a scorer, read every number aloud, he did everything right, except one 5-second ritual before his first shot. The R&A held an emergency meeting to consider reinstatement. They couldn't find a way. The head of the R&A called it one of the great tragedies in championship golf. That evening, Mark Rowe drove home. The next day, Ben Curtis, a 500-to-1 outsider, won the Open by a single stroke. Rowe's 67 would have put him right in the middle of that fight. Instead, he watched it on television. He later said he went upstairs that night, sat alone, and cried. Rowe never played in another major. He retired 3 years later. The rule that ended his career was changed by the R&A in 2005, 2 years after it destroyed the greatest round of his life. A club that should have been removed, a bunker that looked like dirt, a drop that was 2 yards too far, a number that was 1 stroke too high, a card that was filled in by the wrong hand. 5 mistakes, 5 major championships, 5 players who were good enough to win and lost to the rulebook instead. Since these moments, golf has changed. Rules have been rewritten, grace periods introduced, exceptions carved out for honest errors. But for these 5 men, the reforms came too late. The scorecard doesn't care how well you played. It only cares what you wrote down.